I don't care what Script Gremlin, whose favourite film is Spice World by the way, thinks. Deep Blue Sea is an awesome guilty pleasure and one of my favourite films to just throw on and sink a couple of beers watching. It's got one of the greatest twists in modern pop culture history.
We're going to pull together and we're going to find a way to get out of here. First, we're going to seal off this
A fantastic cast, and since it came out in the UK when I was 14, I never got to see it in the cinema, which is a shame. Essentially, it's Frankenstein with sharks. A scientist tries to cure Alzheimer's in memory of her father and winds up creating super smart sharks that eat most of the cast in a bid to escape into the deep blue sea. I can't recommend it enough if you find Jaws a bit too vegetarian for your tastes. And for years, director Renny Harlin, Die Hard 2 cliffhanger, was teasing us with a sequel which involved Frankenstein-style mutations that were tragic and violent. Oh, and they would have been surgically altered to incorporate machine guns, torpedoes and other weapons. It was going to be made on a budget of $5 million and not played for laughs because it was a tragic film. With genetically altered sharks armed with machine guns, torpedoes and other weapons. Shakespeare, eat your heart out. So when my Amazon Prime asked me if I'd like to watch Deep Blue Sea 2, I couldn't download it fast enough. Which was my first mistake because this film is just a mess. For a start, despite being titled Deep Blue Sea 2, this is actually a remake of the first film and not a sequel, which is not what I've been promised for the last 19 years. And it's a remake in the worst possible way. Where the first film had unique, interesting and memorable characters played by actors like LL Cool J, Samuel L. Jackson and Stellan Skarsgård, Deep Blue Sea 2 has people wandering around a cheap-looking set being menaced by bad CGI. Even the reason for creating the super smart sharks is insane. In the original film, the sharks were created because the proteins in their brain help fight Alzheimer's. More protein was needed, ergo the sharks were given larger brains, which made them smarter and allowed all hell to break loose. In this remake? Are you sitting down? Because it's pretty far out there. As far as I could work out, a billionaire has decided that artificial intelligence will one day wipe us all out, so the best thing to do is to make humans smarter than the AIs, which is done by taking pills full of shark brain protein, which will, because of science, make us as smart as the AIs, which has led to the super smart sharks, yada yada yada, whatever works for you guys, I guess. Except for most of the film, you could literally swap out the evil sharks with a standard bunch of movie piranha, and I doubt anyone would have noticed. Hell, I'm half convinced that several scenes were lifted straight from a film that had that very premise, and this film had more plot holes in it than most of the cast. And almost all of the film sets look like a bunch of cardboard or are really obviously filmed in water tanks. None of the cast has any chemistry with any of the others, and had I not paid £4.49 for the privilege of watching this thing on the train to work, I would have turned it off in seconds. Even if I do separate this film out from the original, which, by the way, is regarded by people whose opinions matter as the greatest non-Jaws shark movie of all time, I would struggle to find a single positive thing to say about this 94-minute mess. I mean, I can get rushing out a low-budget sequel to a film within 2 or 3 years, but after 19? This looks and feels like a sci-fi film, which it is, I discovered whilst making my hit conducting research for my review. And just by saying it's a sci-fi movie, I've rendered the previous 687 words irrelevant. If you strip out the nostalgia for the name, then this is just another bad sci-fi movie. Bad writing, bad directing, bad set, woeful script, terrible CGI, and awful acting from a bunch of non-entities who think being cast as second tree on the left in primary school means they should be allowed within 1,000 miles of a film set. And did I mention that it has no lovely, wonderful, always better than cheap CGI practical effects? Maybe my nostalgia for the original is blinding my critical eye to whatever fleeting pleasures that it offers. I mean, it was filmed in colour and it, didn't set my phone on fire? Long and short, it's a beat-for-beat remake of a 19-year-old film that outclasses it in every single way. This is fire. Do not see this film under any circumstances. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to watch the original again, which will still hold up in 19 years, whereas this won't hold up in 19 seconds. But what did you guys think? And what do you think is the worst sequel reboot you have ever seen? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.